The European Parliament has elected Antonio Tajani as President. The Parliament has elected 14 Vice Presidents, 4 are EPP Group MEPs. And 5 Quaestors have also been elected, 2 from the EPP Group. Managing migration better and tackling terrorism are among the EPP Group's priorities during Malta's EU Presidency. Hello and welcome to our roundup of the European Parliament's latest plenary session here in Strasbourg. We begin with the results of the Parliament's midterm elections and the election of its President. Antonio Tajani, an EPP Group MEP and former EU Commissioner, secured a majority of MEP votes in a fourth-round runoff with Gianni Pittella from the Socialists and Democrats Group.
Ich stelle fest, dass Herr Abgeordneter Antonio Tajani damit zum Präsidenten des Europäischen Parlaments gewählt worden ist.
He fought off challenges from 6 other candidates. In a twist to the story, the Liberal Democrat leader Guy Verhofstadt withdrew from the race as part of a coalition agreement with the EPP Group. In their pro-European coalition agreement, the EPP Group and ALDE have made a commitment to strengthen Europe and to seek to stop nationalists and populists from destroying the EU from within and from outside. The two political groups will work on a joint agenda together in the Parliament and vis-à-vis the Commission, European Council and EU governments. Both groups are calling for a Parliament Committee of Inquiry to boost Europe's internal security and prevent terrorist attacks. In his first speech to MEPs, Mr. Tajani said he wants to unite the Parliament despite criticism from some of the groups during the election process.
È stato un confronto democratico. Io, come vi ho detto quest'oggi, sarò il presidente di tutti, rispetterò tutti i deputati, rispetterò tutti i gruppi.
Antonio Tajani is an Italian MEP and Vice President of the European Parliament with considerable experience of Italian and EU politics. Prior to his career as a politician, he was a professional journalist working for the public broadcaster RAI and for the daily newspaper Il Giornale. An MEP from 1994 till 2008, he was then appointed as EU Commissioner for Transport until 2010 and then EU Commissioner for Industry and Entrepreneurship until 2014. In 2012, Commissioner Tajani launched a campaign for a new industrial revolution in Europe to promote growth and jobs and has worked hard to push for the interests of small and medium-sized enterprises. In these difficult times of growing populism and nationalism, Europe is in dire need of all of his considerable political and journalistic skills. Manfred Weber, the chairman of the EPP Group, gave his view on what Antonio Tajani can offer EU citizens as president.
The European Parliament is a parliament of the people, and Antonio Tajani will represent the people, the interest of the people. That is in the center of the EPP approach, and he will defend the European Union against the extremists, the populists who want to destroy our common, open and tolerant European Union.
Moving on now to the election of 14 vice presidents, including 4 EPP Group members. Mairead McGuinness, an Irish MEP, has been a member of the EPP Group since 2004. She is an expert on agriculture and environmental policy and was a lead EPP negotiator on the reform of the Common Agricultural Policy. She is active on agriculture and food chain sustainability, including addressing unfair trading practices. She also leads EPP negotiations on the medical devices regulation. She chaired the Parliament's Committee of Inquiry into the collapse of a major life assurance company, which identified weak financial regulation before the financial crisis of 2008. Rainer Wieland, a German MEP who has been a member of the EPP Group since 1997 and a Parliament Vice President since 2009. He is an expert on EU constitutional affairs, including European political parties, committees of inquiry and European electoral law. In the last 2 years, his work has focused on a revision of the Parliament's Rules of Procedure, which came into force in January 2017. As a Vice President, he has been in charge of the Parliament's buildings policy and budget. Ramón Luis Valcárcel Siso, a Spanish MEP who has been in the EPP Group since 2014. As Vice President of the Parliament, his main responsibility has been the MEP's Research Service and Library, which offers tailor-made information products that have been used by more than 80% of MEPs. He also works in the MEP National MP COSAC meetings, where he keeps a close eye on the threats posed by nationalism. Ildiko Gall-Pelcz, a Hungarian MEP who has been a member of the EPP Group since 2010. She is an EU tax and internal market expert. The focus of her work has been to fight for more transparency and accountability in the European Parliament through an audit panel and in terms of access to documents. She has helped journalists, businesses and private individuals secure access to confidential documents, for example about trialogues or committee meetings. And 2 Quaestors from the EPP Group were elected. Quaestors look after the administrative and financial interests of the European Parliament. Elisabeth Morin-Chartier, a French MEP who has been in the EPP Group since 2007. She is an expert on EU law relating to employment and social affairs. She was the Parliament's rapporteur on the European Social Fund, has written a report on the impact of the economic crisis on women, and is the EPP Group's co-rapporteur on the revision of the Posted Workers Directive. Andrei Kovachev, a Bulgarian MEP who has been in the EPP Group since 2009. His main areas of expertise are foreign policy, in particular the European integration process of the Western Balkans, and access to healthcare. He is currently a Quaestor, where his work focuses on ensuring high-quality transportation, IT services and training for MEPs, and on organising groups of visitors. And finally, to the 6-month Maltese presidency of the EU and the priorities set by the EPP Group, including on terrorism. Malta's Prime Minister Joseph Muscat presented his country's priorities for its 6-month presidency of the EU. Speaking in plenary, EPP Group Chairman Manfred Weber said how important it is to find ways to stop migrants dying in the Mediterranean and for EU countries to do what they have agreed to do, such as putting €1.8 billion into an Africa fund to tackle the causes of migration. He also called for action to counter terrorism.
Die Defizite sind offensichtlich. Nach jedem Terroranschlag in Paris, in Brüssel und auch in Berlin treffen sich die Innenminister und beklagen, dass es mit dem Datenaustausch nicht klappt, dass wir nicht vorankommen mit dem Datenaustausch. Deswegen sprechen wir uns dafür aus, dass wir im Parlament uns auch um diese Frage kümmern müssen, mit einem Sonderausschuss.
Mr. Weber also spoke about the need to tackle tax avoidance issues and about the final stages of approval of the Canada-EU Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. Brexit discussions will also be on the agenda in the coming months. So that's it for the first Strasbourg session of 2017. Find out more about the activities of the largest political force in the European Parliament by checking out eppgroup.eu. Thanks for watching and see you next time.